Hey there, Celtics Nation. We all know that losing our star player was a tough blow, but what the front office did next was even more shocking. They traded away two of our cornerstones, and now, with the season on the line, they have to find a player who can change everything. I've been digging into the market, and I've found three big names who could be our salvation. To find out who they are and why they're our last hope, subscribe to the channel right now and join me. The Boston Celtics entered this season with the scent of champions in the air. We got a taste of victory in our last run, but as you all know, the basketball gods had other plans. We were blindsided by the devastating news that Jason Tatum is out for the season. From that point on, what was supposed to be a journey for another title turned into a race for survival. And that's when our ever-bold front office made a master move. They traded two cornerstones of our last campaign, Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday, to bring in the young and explosive Anthony Simons. It was a shock. We traded the experience of two players who knew the ropes for youth, speed, and an offensive potential that could explode at any moment. Simons is electrifying. He can create his own shot and fits perfectly into a fast-paced game. But let's be honest, his arrival doesn't solve all our problems. Without Tatum, our margin for error has shrunk dramatically. Jaylen Brown has become our alpha, the unquestioned leader, but even with all his brilliance, we need more to compete on equal footing in the Eastern Conference. That's why we have to keep an eye on the trade market. We can't just patch holes. We need players who can elevate the team's level and ensure we stay in the playoff race so that Tatum has a competitive team to return to next season. And after analyzing the market, three names caught my attention, and I'll explain why. With Porzingis gone, our front court depth has been exposed. What we need now is a versatile player who can not only dominate inside, but also carry the team on offense when Brown and Simons aren't on fire. And Pascal Siakam has all of that. Siakam has a complete game. He can score in the post, shoot from mid-range, and even act as a secondary playmaker. On defense, he's long and mobile enough to guard multiple positions, an essential characteristic for the Celtics switching scheme. In many ways, he could replicate the versatility that Porzingis gave us on offense, but with even better defense. The challenge is the price. Besides being highly valued by the Pacers, he's become the team's pillar after Halliburton's injury. And he's not cheap, which means we'd have to give up contracts and draft picks. But for a franchise like the Celtics, which lives for a title run, that cost could be worth it. The duo of Brown and Siakam could hold down the fort without Tatum, and when he returns, we'd have an even stronger rotation of forwards. Another option for the Celtics is to fill the void left by Tatum with a veteran who knows how to score. I'm talking about DeMar DeRozan, the mid-range assassin, who ages like fine wine. He's not a long-range shooter, but he's one of the most reliable players in basketball for scoring in the half-court. For a team that now relies heavily on Brown and Simons for scoring, DeRozan would bring a calming presence, a go-to option in crunch time, and stability for the second unit. DeRozan's fit would be very interesting. He likes to have the ball in his hands, but he doesn't need a Jokic style of play. The Celtics could simply let him operate in isolation and pick-and-roll situations, giving Brown more freedom to attack off the ball and Simons room to act as a secondary creator. We know the Celtics have had stagnant offense problems in the playoffs. DeRozan would be the perfect solution to that problem. The risk, of course, is his age and defense. He's not as athletic as he once was and has never been a great defender. But the Celtics' defensive system, which is based on switching and strong team concepts, could hide those weaknesses. More importantly, his contract is short-term, which means we could acquire him without compromising the franchise's future. He would be the ideal stopgap, reliable, experienced, and capable of giving us 20 points a night. If the Celtics prefer a younger, longer-term bet, John Collins could be a great opportunity. He was once considered a rising star in Atlanta, but his market value has fallen in recent years. Even so, his combination of athleticism, rebounding, and shooting potential makes him an interesting option for a team willing to bet on his resurgence. For the Celtics, Collins could be a new scorer for the frontcourt and a key piece for the future, alongside Brown, Tatum, and Simons. Collins' role would be clear: space the floor, attack the rim with force, and bring energy to the paint. Without Porzingis, the Celtics have lost a vertical threat, someone who can punish defenses that collapse on Brown's drives or Simons' shooting. Collins excels in transition and pick-and-roll situations, two areas where the Celtics could increase the pace and create easier scoring opportunities. His defense has limitations, but in a system anchored by Derek White and Nemias Quetta, those flaws can be masked. What makes Collins most attractive is his availability. His market value has dropped significantly since he joined the Clippers, which means the Celtics could acquire him without giving up their best young assets. The bet is whether he can rediscover his confidence and consistency. For a team looking for both short-term production and long-term potential, Collins is a calculated risk worth considering. The Boston Celtics are going through one of the most unpredictable seasons in franchise history. Losing Tatum for a year would be fatal for most teams, and the trade of Porzingis and Holiday only increased the uncertainty. But the Celtics are not a franchise that gives up in the face of adversity. By bringing in Simons, they injected speed and creation ability into the team, a necessary step to remain relevant in the East. Now, the question is whether they will double down and seek a major trade during the season. Siakam would give us a pillar in the frontcourt and the reliability to remain dangerous. DeRozan would bring the experience and scoring ability to stabilize the offense. And Collins would be the bet on potential, the chance to add energy and balance. Each path has its risks, but all three would keep us competitive in 2025-26 and, at the same time, preserve our future for Tatum's return. This season may not end with another title, but that doesn't mean the Celtics should give up their identity as a contender. With a smart move and a timely trade, we can survive the storm, develop new weapons, and set the stage for Tatum's triumphant comeback. In a league where windows of opportunity close quickly, staying aggressive might be the only way to keep ours open. And you, fan, which of these three players would you like to see wearing a Celtics jersey? Leave your opinion here in the comments, and let's keep this conversation going.